Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision-making specialist, and today is July 8th, 2020, and that means it is day 114 in here. As always, if you're in or out, please stay healthy, take care of yourself, and help those around you stay healthy too. We need to keep all of us together on one track of safety and health, and from that will come our prosperity. Yesterday, I was going on an errand with my husband. I stay in the truck and he goes to do his errands. And as I was sitting there, there was a spot, it was just so warm and the sun was out, the clouds were blue. It was just a perfect day. And it was out of the office, out of the house. And I was there, and he got back in and started to turn the key for the engine. And I said, wait just a moment. And he looked and he said, okay. So he did. And I realized that I was sitting there so quietly. And he said, what are you thinking or imagining? And I said, I am imagining that we have reservations and we are packed and we are on our way for a trip. And he looked and he said, and where are we going? And I said, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It matters that we're ready, the weather's gorgeous, and we are off. And he sat there and laughed for a minute and he said, you do realize that there is still a COVID-19 and we are actually on our way for a little ride and then back home. And I said, of course I remember. How could I forget? I wish I could. And I realized what I was doing when I was sitting in the seat, in the sun, in my imagination. I suddenly looked in my own rearview mirror, and I remembered a long time ago, way before he and I met, I had a dog that was part Australian sheepdog and part border collie, and her name was Muffin. And Muffin had all the different colors and shades of gray, charcoal, lighter, that the Australian Shepherd has. She had blue eyes, and yet she had this lovely billowy hair of the collie. And Muffin loved to go for rides. She loved to jump in the car. She would never whine. She was never restless. She would just sit there and look out one window, and then she would look out another, and then she would look out again and look out ahead. She loved riding in a car, and I loved to drive, and I loved going places, so we had fun. And then I realized that I had some business appointments and some things that I was doing, and she and I had not gone for a ride for over a week. And I remember one day that I just called her Muffy. Muffy went to the front door and she looked, and then she looked at me, and then she had one bark. And I said, Muffy, what's going on? She looked at the door, she looked at me, and she barked, and I got it. And I said, "Oh, Muff, we haven't gone for a ride for a long time." And she looked at me and looked at the door, and I thought, I don't have time for a ride. So I decided to try an experiment. So I opened the door. She ran to the car door. I opened the car door. She jumped in. And I closed the car door and I just sat there for a few minutes. And you know what? She was exactly like I was yesterday sitting in the truck. She was sitting there. It's a lovely day. She looked out the windows. The wheels were not going around. I was not in the car. We were actually going nowhere at all. And Muffin was happy as she could be. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have been inside so long that I am getting like Muffin. I can sit in a vehicle going nowhere and be okay. And I just laughed and laughed at that story. And I'm wondering what for you is something that you could do that gives you a sensation of the normalcy that you would like. What's a dream? What's a hope of a vacation, of something that you used to do? And this time, not look at it in terms of a focus of deprivation or focus on the part of what you don't have. How about that you use our what if tool and your vivid creative imagination, and what if you just had some way of pretending? You know you're pretending. I know you're pretending. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Muffin was happy. I was happy. I'm not sure what that says about me. However, I want this to be about you so that you have a little touch of cloud time. Would you like to be sailing and you don't have a boat, don't have a ticket? What if you just drove to the ocean, if you have that luxury, or just sat in your car and imagined what your last sailboat ride was like, what your last lovely dinner was, what your last opera was, and how close in your imagination, without the deprivation, without the looking at what you don't have, how much of that memory in your body, in your mind, in your ears, in your smell, in your vision, how close can you be to that particular opera, that particular movie, that particular event? Can you hear the people clapping? Can you hear the crowds roaring? Can you just enjoy a moment of cloud time that brings you here and now to what used to be for you? Maybe that just sounds like a silly little game to you, or you're just trying to make lemonade out of lemons or whatever. It's not. It's practicing our focus on something that is possible rather than so many things that are uncertain these days and impossible. It's free. Your imagination is there. You're imagining something, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. You are using your imagination every second. Why not use that imagination to give yourself a moment, a sense, a dream, a hope of what used to be normal and what you can have now in terms of the loveliness of a memory. We write our story. There is nothing wrong, and sometimes there's everything right, of just kind of leafing through and coming across a memory and think, oh, I remember that, and feeling that joy that you felt then, that sense of peace, that sense of oneness within yourself. Remember, there are different ways to focus. One way of focusing is what, oh my gosh, I have no control over that. Another focus is on the past or on the future rather than the now. The other focus is what I don't have rather than what I do have. So just for this eyelash or two of a cloud time, I'm offering that you focus on what of the part that you don't have can you have now, even if it's in your imagination and your memory. What if you focused on that which you have some empowerment, some choice, some decision of bringing it into the right here and now? Put it in your toolbox. Please give it a try. See what you come up with. You may come up with a memory that you had forgotten, and you can feel the same joy. Wouldn't that be lovely? I am going to offer that you give it a whirl, give it a try. All right, find some joy from the past and bring it into your here and now. You can make that decision anytime you want, and I am offering that you do it just right now. And right now, click subscribe. Come back tomorrow because I will be looking for you. You are important. Take care and bye for now.